Hi everyone. In the last two lecture of the instrumentation, that is the part 1 and the part 2 lectures, we have discussed various component of the colorimetry such as the radiation sources, then optical parts, mirrors, lenses and slits, then filters. There are two types of the filter, absorption filter and the interference filter. Then monochromators. Again, there are two types of the monochromator, prism and the diffraction grating, and the cuvette or the cell. So, here in this lecture, that is the instrumentation part 3, we are going to discuss the important component of the colorimetry, that is a detector. So, detection of the radiation. What is meant by detector or what is the use of detector? Generally in colorimetry, a detector is device which convert radiant energy into the electrical energy. This is the function of the detector. So, here there are three types of detectors are used to detect the radiation. Which are these three types? So, number one is that is a photovoltaic cell. This is the first one. Then the second one is the phototubes or the photoemissive tube, and the last one is the photomultiplier tubes. So, friends, here this photovoltaic cell and the phototubes generally they are used in the colorimetry, while this photomultiplier tube it is used as a detector in the spectrophotometer. So, let us discuss one by one. The first of all, let us consider the photovoltaic cell. This photovoltaic cell, it is also known as the barrier layer cell, or it is also called as the photronic cell. So, here in this cell, the radiant energy falling on it generate a current at the interface of the metal and the semiconductor. So, here what is the important about the photovoltaic cell? It operates without use of the battery. So, here when the radiant energy when it falls on the photovoltaic cell, it generate a current at the interface of the metal and the semiconductor. So, let us consider the diagram of the photovoltaic cell. So, here this is the diagram of the photovoltaic cell. Uh, so, here this photovoltaic cell it consists of the metal base plate. So, this is a metal base plate of iron or copper. It is prepared from or iron or the copper. So, that means iron or the copper metal base plate is used. It is act as the one electrode. So, this metal base plate it is act as the one electrode. Then here a thin layer of the semiconductor material like selenium. So, this is the selenium. So, here the thin layer of the semiconductor material like selenium, it is deposited on the surface of the metal base plate. So, here the selenium is deposited on the metal base plate of the iron or the copper. Then the surface of the semiconducting material it is covered by the a very thin layer of the silver or the gold. So, here a transparent cover of the silver or the gold which is act as the second collector electrode. So, here this silver layer or the thin layer of the silver it is act as the one electrode, while this metal base plate of the iron or the copper it is act as the another electrode. So, these are the two electrode in this photovoltaic cell. So, here when the radiation these are the radiation. So, here when the radiation incident upon the surface of the semiconductor material like the selenium. So, here electrons are generated at the selenium silver interface. So, here these electrons are generated at the selenium silver interface. So, here this is important, when the radiation is incident upon the surface of the semiconductor material selenium, electrons are generated at the selenium silver interface. So, here these are the light radiations which are coming from the cuvette. That means these are the transmitted radiation. So, all of you know that when the monochromatic light when it falls on the sample or the absorbing species, some part of the light is absorbed while the remaining part is transmitted. So, here these light rays, that means these are the transmitted radiation. So, here there is a ejection of the electron, and here these electrons are collected by the silver metal plate. So, here these electrons are collected by the silver metal plate, and here accumulate on the silver surface. So, it create an electric voltage difference between the silver surface of the silver surface and the base of the cell. So, this is the base of the cell, while this is the transparent cover, means it is a silver surface. So, here it create an electric voltage difference between the silver surface and the uh, base of the cell. The external circuit has a low resistance, and therefore photo current flow through the outer circuit. So, this is the outer circuit, and here the photo current flow through this outer circuit. The photo current is recorded by the galvanometer in the circuit. So, here this is the galvanometer and it records the photo current. The magnitude of the photo current, it is directly proportional to the radiant power of the incident radiation beam. So, here the magnitude of the current, it depend on the radiant power of this transmitted radiation. So, this is about the working of the photovoltaic cell. So, what is important, this photovoltaic cell, it work without battery. So, here photovoltaic cell. So, here photocurrent is recorded by the galvanometer in the circuit, and here the magnitude of the photocurrent is directly proportional to the radiant power of the incident radiation beam. Then the characteristics of the photovoltaic cell. So, here there are various characteristics. Let us consider one by one. Number one, it is a completely different in design and principle of the photoemissive cell and works without use of battery. Already we have discussed this. These cells generate their own EMF. That is also important. The magnitude of the photocurrent, it is directly proportional to the radiant power of the incident radiation striking on it. The cells are sensitive over the whole visible region, that is 400 to 800 nanometer. The current output of the cell depend upon the wavelength of the incident radiation. So, here these are the characteristics of the photovoltaic cell. So, here let us consider disadvantages of the photovoltaic cell. It has some few disadvantages. Let us consider one by one. The current produced by the cell cannot be easily amplified because of the low internal resistance. So, this is the first drawback or disadvantage or the limitation. The second one is the cell shows a fatigue effect, that is its current output decreases slowly during the continued illumination. So, here when we use the cell for a longer time, then it show the fatigue effect. The fatigue effect can be minimized by careful selection of the optimum level of the illumination. So, these are the two main disadvantages of the photovoltaic cell. So, this is the first detector. So, let us consider the second detector, and the second detector is the phototubes. So, here these cells are known as the photoemissive tubes. Inside the tube, radiant energy falling on the photosensitive solid surface cause the emission of the electron. So, that is important in case of the phototubes. So, here the radiant energy falling on the photosensitive solid surface, it causes the emission of the electron. So, here let us consider the diagram of the phototubes. So, let us consider the diagram. So, this is the diagram of the phototubes. So, here it consists of evacuated glass bulb, or here evacuated glass tube. So, this is the evacuated glass tube. So, it consists of the evacuated glass tube or the glass bulb, and inside the bulb there is a photoemissive cathode. So, this is the photoemissive cathode. So, here photoemissive cathode in the form of the half cylinder of the metal. So, this is the half cylinder of the metal, and here what is the important, the inner surface of the cathode, it is coated with the light sensitive material such as the oxide of the cesium or the potassium or the silver, that is the cesium oxide or the potassium oxide or the silver oxide. It is coated on the inner side of the half cylindrical metal. Then here a metal ring, or here the metal wire or the metal rod is inserted in the tube, and it is act as the anode. So, here half cylindrical metal, it is a cathode, and here the metal wire or the metal rod or the metal ring, it is the anode. So, these are the two electrode in the phototube, that is the cathode and the anode. A high voltage of 90 volts is impressed between the anode and cathode. So, here the 90 volt is impressed between the anode and the cathode. When the light of, or when the photons fall on the cathode. So, here what happen, when the light falls on the cathode, electrons are emitted by the cathode due to the photoelectric effect. So, here this is the light radiation, and when this light radiation falls on the cathode, whose inner side is coated with the light sensitive material such as the cesium oxide, potassium oxide or the silver oxide. When these photons or when the light radiation falls on the cathode, there is a ejection of the electron due to the photoelectric effect. So, friends, here what is my photoelectric effect? All of you know that when the light radiation falls on the light sensitive material, there is a ejection of the electrons. These electrons, they are called as the photoelectron, and the effect, it is called as the photoelectric effect. So, here in the phototubes, the concept of the photoelectric effect is used, and here due to the photoelectric effect, there is a ejection of the ejection of the electron. So, here the liberated electrons are attracted to the anode, causing an electric current to flow through an external circuit. And here due to flow of this electron, there occur IR drop across the resistance R, and which is proportional to the current. So, here the liberated electrons are attracted to the anode, here this is the anode, causing an electric current to flow through the external circuit, and here due to the flow of these electrons, there across IR drop across the resistance R, and which is proportional to the current. The current is amplified and measured by the readout device. So, here this is the readout device, the current is amplified and it is measured with the readout device, and here the current measure the radiant power of the light radiation striking the photosensitive surface. So, friends, this is about the phototube, and phototube is the second detector. So, here the first one is the photovoltaic cell, and the second one is the phototubes. Generally, here the photovoltaic cell and the phototubes, these two detectors, they are used in a colorimeter. So, here phototubes are more sensitive than the photovoltaic cell, and here the phototubes have high internal resistance, and therefore, their output current can be easily amplified. So, here let us consider the last, that is the third detector, and the third detector is the photomultiplier tube. So, here it contains a photoemissive surface as well as many other surfaces that emit the flow of electron from photosensitive area. It is more sensitive than the phototubes for the visible as well as the ultraviolet region, and it is a mostly used in the spectrophotometer. So, here the photomultiplier tube. So, let us consider the diagram of the photomultiplier tube. So, here this is the diagram of the photomultiplier tube. So, here photomultiplier tube consists of the cathode. So, here this is the photoemissive cathode and anode. So, here this is the anode, photoemissive cathode, and this is the anode. So, here this photomultiplier tube, it consists of the cathode and the anode, and many additional electrodes that are called as the diodes. So, here this is the first diode, this is the second diode, this is the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8 and diode. Diode means the intermediate electrodes. So, here all these are enclosed in evacuated glass bulb. So, here this is the evacuated glass bulb. In the evacuated glass bulb, there is a cathode, anode and the 9 diodes. A photoemissive cathode in the form of half cylinder of the metal. So, here this is the photoemissive cathode. As like as the phototubes, here the inner surface of the cathode, it is coated with the light sensitive material such as the oxides of the cesium, that is the cesium, potassium and the silver. So, here the most photomultiplier tubes have the 9 diodes as we discuss here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, here there are 9 diodes. A diode is an electrode with coating with the cesium. So, again here the inner side of the diode, it is coated with the cesium which emit the several electrons, that is 2 to 5 electrons are ejected from the inner side of the inner surface of the diode for each electron striking on its surface. For example, here suppose one electron is strike on the surface of the first diode, here 2 to 5 electrons are ejected, 2 to 5 electrons are ejected. So, here when the light radiation striking the cathode surface, here this is the cathode and these are the radiation which are coming from the cuvette. So, actually these are the transmitted radiation in the instrument of the spectrophotometer. So, here when the light radiation strike the cathode surface, it eject the electrons due to photoelectric effect, and here the primary electron get accelerated in the electrostatic field between the cathode and the first diode and fall on the diode number 1. So, here whether the when the radiation, that is the transmitted radiation, when it falls on the inner surface of the cathode, here there is the ejection of the electrons, and these electrons they falls on the diode number 1. The first diode is at 75 to 100 volts more positive than the cathode, and here when the electrons strike on the inner side of the diode surface. So, here there is a ejection, there is a emission of the 2 to 5 electrons. So, here the 2 to 5 electrons are ejected. These secondary electrons in turns are accelerated toward the diode 2. So, this is the diode 2, they are accelerated toward the diode 2 which is at the 75 to 100 volts more positive than the diode 1. At diode 2 again each striking electron, here the each striking electron causes emission of the several electrons. So, here again when the one electrons which is coming from the diode number 1, when it falls on the surface, inner surface of the diode number 2, so again there is a ejection of the 2 to 5 electron. So, here this process is repeated for the 9 diodes, that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, here the process is repeated 9 times, where each secondary electrons release several electron in its turn, and finally here nearly that is a 10 raised to 6 to 10 raised to 7 electrons have been released for each photon striking on a photocathode, and the electrons leave the last diode, that is a diode number 9, and are received by the anode, that is a collector. So, this is the anode or the collector, and the resulting current is then amplified and measured by the readout device. And what is important here, the magnitude of the current is proportional to the radiant power of the radiation, that is a radiant power of the radiation that strike the photocathode, and here the overall amplification factor of the photomultiplier tube it is near about 10 raised to 6. So, here in case of the photomultiplier tube, what is important, in photomultiplier tube must be carefully shielded from the stray light. So, friends, this is about the photomultiplier tube. So, here when we consider the photomultiplier tube generally they are used in the here the spectrophotometer, and here photomultiplier tube has a number of advantages over the photo tube. So, here what are the advantages? The first one is the response time of the tube is just 9 to 10 seconds. Then the second one is they are highly sensitive to the UV and visible radiation. At the as the output of the tube is only several milliampere, it can be used to measure the radiant power about 200 times weaker than those measurable with the photoelectric cell and amplifier. So, these are the three main advantages of the photomultiplier tube. So, here these are the three detectors which are used in the colorimeter as well as the spectrophotometer. So, here photovoltaic cell and the phototubes they are used in the colorimeter, while this photomultiplier tube it is used in the spectrophotometer. So, friends, this is about the detectors which are used in the colorimeter as well as in the spectrophotometer. So, friends, in the instrumentation that is a part 1, part 2, part 3, we have discussed all the components of the colorimetry. In the next lecture of the instrumentation, that is a part 4, we are going to consider the actual instrument of the colorimetry and the working of the colorimetry. So, friends, thank you.